Hello everybody, welcome back in. We're here with the second map, of course. Monte up against SAW, just getting kicked off into the pistol round here. I'm joined once again by Naokai, and we are raring and ready to go for this one for sure. Monte taking the first map in pretty decisive fashion. 16-8. This one's going to start with a bloodbath by the looks of things. SAW's map pick, SAW's home map, and they need to prove to us why, because Monte are certainly not messing around in this series. Caught with the reload is SDY. MQ out from Donut will keep things even. So mid-control goes away momentarily, but a big kill from BOROS. He's dropped the bomb. He's able to just back away as well and give them control of that, but a 3 versus 2 they will take.
A very messy affair to start things off, but Monte, they're kickstarting things, it seems, in the same fashion that they started. Roman will catch the MQ back turn. Crash, I don't know if he's been heard or seen. Now he definitely has, as it dropped. And that is an A site open. But the bomb dropped too. It's a 1 versus 1.
Big one as well. Boros going to get it. Absolutely massive round. Coming in from the young gun. Gets himself a 3K and feels good about it too. As he should. Drop that bomb not once but twice. And, well, a quick move through the smoke there was pretty nice as well. Either way, it is going to be Monte taking the pistol. I think for now, they are flawless on pistols. We'll see whether that continues on this map. But SAW are immediately backs up against the wall. Not the way they wanted to kick off this rerun.
Yeah, SAW, unfortunately, hit 0-3 in pistols right now, which means they're always starting off every half on the back foot. And as we saw into the previous map, that actually really did come back to bite them. No bomb plant too means that they have just so little to work with here. This nade could be chunky. Will come through. Roman just about gets to the dodge before it does way more than it could have. MP9s, a bit of early control. Looks like mid-aggression still wants to be the priority side. These MP9s, the SMGs can do a decent amount of damage.
Looking good. P250s though, certainly chiming in. MUTiRiS has found himself 2 heads so far. Looks good though on the FAMAS, going to finish things off. They lose a couple players, but they'll ultimately be happy with that one. However, SAW with the early rifle buy here now.
I'm worried already. I'm still slightly concerned that we haven't really seen SAW wake up. This is where they need to convince me. Full buy coming out, of course. AK's on display, as you mentioned. A whole host of utility around. If Monte, this is technically chalked up as a bonus, but it's a loose term because they take a few casualties in towards that previous round. So, yeah, boy, when S is coming out, this is a very important round for SAW. They have to find this, right? Just to kickstart a bit of that T-side momentum. But Ancient, it's less seated than it once was, but it still does lean in that favor. It's something young to be tested.
Looking good on top of a little bit of a one-way once again. He loves this strat, used it an awful lot on the CT side of Anubis. Work around the smoke, and well, you can see why he finds success with it, and they're just not ready for him. He's got all these cheesy little one-ways in the back pocket, it looks like. Flank coming around from DemQ. Very slow indeed. Waro, going to get spotted on the story as well. Needs to be traded here. He will indeed be. So 4v3, but it hangs by a bit of a thread. Boros with a big frag as per usual. Looking good. MUTiRiS the only one left on 16 HP after fighting against the MP9. I have the question that he does this. Some Young on low HP is going to be the one to defuse the bomb. He's retrieved a kit though, and unfortunately MUTiRiS was banking on the fact that maybe they didn't have one. Maybe he just conceded the round. We'll never know, but all the same, Monte finding 3 in a row.
And on what was the quote-unquote bonus, there's 2 AK scooped up too. And all in all, Monte loving life right now. 3-0 up. Of course, a bomb plant and a loss bonus means that SAW do have a little bit of money to work with. So a full buy back in is not a you know, the end of the world, but already early pause called. You can sort of understand why. Monte looking pretty clean, pretty comfortable right now. Things are very good over in the CT camp. They can start to build up such a wealth of a lead in that CT side before SAW can really get back into it and respond. These could get messy early doors. And Monte are a side that, while this is, again, like we were saying, a map which generally leans over in favor of that CT side, Monte are a side that on T side, you kind of expect some real good work out of them. They're a very aggressive side. They, like to rely on the back of the individuals like your Waros or your Boroses of the world who can really step up and find individual kind of moments of glory. Monte, this is so far pretty damn good. 3-0. Now round number 4 starts. Of course, full buy for SAW. This time, double Galil comes through to support the AKs.
Early smoke to keep MUTiRiS back. He's looking to get cheeky, isn't he? Oh, and peeks out a bit too early. SDY going to take his head clean off. Meanwhile, the A hit is what they were after. Maybe they've read into this. Maybe they've played around with it. We'll see. DemQQ with a solid 1 for 2, in fact. Massive for him. And now just 2 remaining. Story and Just with weaker weapons to try and make it work. They all line up a little bit, but Story can't get his spray down as clean as he would like. Just then is the lurking presence. Off angle for DemQQ and a big round coming in. A name that maybe you don't expect so much out of this side. Nonetheless, 4 in a row now for Monte.
What a story this would be to start season 44, right? You know, the reigning champs immediately in towards that lower bracket. I mean, of course, the story isn't complete just yet. We still potentially got a third map to go to if SAW can turn this back around. But what a story would be. The new boys coming in towards Challenger and immediately putting it to the best of the best. My God, that would be a very interesting start to the season. I think that will set us up for quite the interesting tale to keep an eye on for the rest of season 44. Great nades coming through. Both Jerks and Just get tagged quite significantly down. In round number 5 is just one Galil to work with.
Yeah, BOROS looking good here in and around the pillar itself. Krasnal going to chime in with 2 of his own here. SDY with a flash round to keep the fight going. Just going to be Story. They take a couple again and can be happy with that. But Monte just streaking ahead with these rounds, man, and looking very good while doing so. This is very impressive stuff.
Wow. Take a little bit of a breather, I guess, before we get underway into round number 6. Once again, full buyout for SAW. But already not a dream start. They're 5-0 down. And at least at the start of Anubis, it was even. An 8-7-half wasn't bad. And, you know, it was going round for round to kickstart us in towards this series. This now is one-sided. It really seems that Monte are awake. They're looking super comfortable, very clean in taking these engagements. And SAW still very flustered. Still trying to wake up. Get the rust away from the edge of those cogs. This has not been a dream start thus far. But no spam coming through. Not going to find too much. Crush not going to re-smoke.
I mean, this is a really big round, right? Once again, you put into the context of how many can Monte put together. So, really, really impressive stuff. MQ with a push out through A main. Will manage to find the first player yet again. Waro as well going to join in. Monte very ready for the pick once again. Just, oh, good for a double though. That's massive. That's going to leave the B bomb site completely open. However, that push forwards, thank goodness for Monte, is finding success. SDY being sprayed down onto 1. Trying to find the toes at the very least of Just, and he will. Story therefore up against 3 with no bomb. Waro ready, and Waro finishes him off. Wow, this is looking so damn good.
There's very little you can say on a bad note over towards Monte, right? This is a map in which historically is very good for SAW. I mean, I spent most of my morning having a little demo review, right? I was watching a lot of SAW and Ancient. They've had some pretty good maps recently as well. I saw them take down Sangal 16-4. That was very one-sided. They had a very good game against B&E as well, with Jerk shot 44 kills in single OT. Pretty dominant performance. So far, I'm not seeing anything. And Jerks, who is the star on this map has become his sort of home. 0-6. Not often you get to say something like that. And he's now James Bond as he goes 0-7. Not good, but at least a quick trade comes through.
Yeah, still, I suppose, Story and he are the only ones really making any action work. Justin MUTiRiS, once again, alone. These rounds are fast. They are pretty frustrating, it seems like, from SAW, that they just cannot get the in here. They don't understand why they're not able to pick up the rounds. Many individuals working well for Monte at the moment. That certainly seems to be the case and continues to be impressive. BOROS, speaking of impressive, looking pretty damn good at 9-3.
Oh my God, what a CT we're seeing here, right? I mean, this has just been such stellar work. Of course, the pause being called, and I don't really blame SAW. Pause coming through, but they are in desperate need of cutting this off. I mean, it's just not been great so far. It's not been comfortable, not been clean. I'm not seeing the individual step up in a way we would have hoped. Jerks, of course, 0-7, yet to put a frag on the board. Roman as well, someone who has his moments of brilliance in SAW. Similar story, just not been great. This is where things do get very uncomfortable with SAW. because this whole series starts to become in jeopardy in what is pretty record timing for SAW. They like a long series. They like taking the distance. They very much like their Ancient as well. And we sort of expected that maybe a 3-mapper was at least guaranteed off the back of losing Anubis. So far, this is not great. And it does make you kind of question, where's the limit, right? Where do we say, okay, well, at least SAW found, what, 5, 6 rounds? An old Ancient? I'd lean that. New Ancient, not so much.
Yeah, I mean, that is very true, actually. The things should be a little more even looking. However, the CT side are the ones that are really playing into the hands of that aggression. As we see there, it is a 1-for-1 trade, but look how much damage has been done there. This is all from nades. This is all from AO1S spam through smokes. SAW don't really have too much to return for it. They, like I say, they get that 1 kill, but it's not like they get the map control because of it. So it really is not looking too good. They're just trapped outside of A still.
Well, bit of util, but really too special. So they only just spot 1. So a bit of information gained, but for SAW, I mean, look how much damage, as you mentioned, off just on the back of the util to start things off. For SAW, this must be such a hard call of what do we do now, right? Where can we actually take fights where are going to net us a bit of an advantage? B seems like a bit of a meat grinder. It's very easy to get mowed down, as Jerks has just found out. I'm going to test over towards A as Warrior holds the AWP. Uh-oh.
Well, we'll see. The double man might be able to make the difference here. The boost up, indeed, finding pretty big frag. Demq, though, he's got a great spot. He's on eye. Oh, away the plant that he was expecting. He's somewhat on, not quite there. They're so low into this retake. Really difficult to tell. There's a flank coming in from SDY as well, and it's so fast. They're just not ready at all, and they all burst together. Wonderful stuff on the retake. I think it's the first one that we've really seen Monte go for in quite a while, and that looked very coordinated indeed.
Yeah, I agreed. That was really, really nice. I think you got to kind of chime back to the start of the round where that util just did all the drill damage. It allowed for the rifles just to very comfortably see that off if they needed to. Oh, they took a couple of bullets. That one nade that was being set up from CT as well, if that actually got off in time, it could have actually netted a double off the back of it. But hey, either way, 8-0. Monte have guaranteed a lead at the half without really ever being truly contesters. For SAW, getting towards a bomb down, it's few and far between, and that was a real shining light and a bit of a silver lining in towards that previous round, but still not great. It really is. It does give them money to work with. Aside from that, there's so little they can take away from it. Just getting a lot of space here. BOROS trying to take fight, catch the flash, but he catches himself as well.
Yep, looking good. We'll see what happens. Oh, Warrior comes off the AWP at the worst possible time. Might have been able to take a shoulder, but the quick scope is all he needs, apparently. Bit of a beast on it at the moment. Will get himself another as well, and that is absolutely massive. Story trying to push in to take him down. It's not successful. Meanwhile, Krasnal holding behind. SDY falls, as does Warro. Back into the 2v2, and they're all out in the open. Low HP for Roman, surely. Krasnal's got this one in the bag. Roman guesses the right side, but bullets don't land. It's so close for their first round, but no cigar, as they say. 9 in a row now for Monte.
When does this stop? When do we see SAW finally push it across that last hurdle? This has just been brilliant. This really has been brilliant for Monte. Their retakes are starting to find a lot of security as well. I think for BOROS, it gets very unfortunate. I thought it was his flash, but it actually might be Sunday Young's, which caught him. And, of course, unfortunately cost his life. Either way, doesn't really matter. Monte continues to just truck along this whole series. Not looking good. Back to the drawing board for SAW. This falls flat just like this, right? Yet to put him around. So far, what has been... Oh, it's getting towards 2 halves worth of CSGO. Not often you can say that. Very one-sided CSGO right now.
Yeah, that's very true, actually, if we tot up from the last map. But I don't know, SAW really not doing themselves any favors. No timeouts here. I think they're just playing very frustrated, very sort of desperate in the way that they're moving through, and it's surprising. Maybe with being top dog on Ancient, they get a lot of eyeballs on them. That's all I can think.
I agree. Well, either way, looks like the testing once again over towards B. 2 players trying to take contact. Quick change coming through. BOROS looking to make it a triple, but he can't quite convert the third. Still, decent damage done, and Sunday Young in the flames. We'll see off Story. Oh,
this could be a little bit disastrous, though, to be fair. Waro not ready for the player in towards Cave. He will be backed up quite quickly by DemQQ. They weren't ready for that one. And a 10th in a row. MUTiRiS playing very on edge, agitated. And he couldn't get the clutch pulled off. When will this end? When will this end?
It's a fantastic question, Scriff, mate. When will this end? 10 in a row. 10-0. Of course, including, what was it, 9 in a row over towards Nibis? That's 19 consecutive rounds for Monte right now. I mean, so rare that you get to say this at this sort of level of Counter-Strike as well. To say that, you know, potentially going 20-0 without response is extremely unlikely. Great util coming through, should do a lot of damage. These are such easy kills. The meat grinder, the B side, it is a massacre as they see it off with such ease. An 11-0 Monte. This is just superb Counter-Strike for Monte right now for SAW. Boys, what is happening? I gotta say as well, you know, having spent, what, 3 hours this morning watching demos of SAW, I was coming in today going to be like, oh, I know SAW on Ancient like the back of my hand, especially Jerks. This man, an animal. He's currently 1-11, and SAW are 0-11. It is just a horrible position for the Portuguese org. What do they do to break the deadlock? That's not a great start. Jerks is having a stinker of a map so far.
Yeah, really not doing well at all. SDY going to find himself 2. Story does chime in. First round of impact we've seen him have. He's going to get 3, in fact, to bring it back to a 2 versus 2. So Monte getting a little bit ahead of themselves. Surely you've got to be expecting the push in here. I think as well, this will be read as somewhat of a fake. I don't know that Krasnal is ready this fast, though. And he does get caught. Aggression into aggression into aggression. DemQQ perhaps behind. But we'll see. Battling back. Getting ready to set oneself up. DemQQ going to run into Roman, though, and does get taken down. So there you have it. SAW will finally break said deadlock, even though the round started pretty poorly for them. Monte, overconfidence, I think, certainly at play.
Oh, yeah, I think for Monte, they've got way too comfortable there, thinking that this is going to be a complete walk in the park. I think overall, I can't see a world in which this comes back to bite them too badly, but yeah, maybe a little bit overconfidence, a bit overzealous. They're taking those mid-fights and actually losing them out to the AWP. So credit to Story stepping up when you sort of called upon, and especially when Jerk's having a little bit of a slow one, you need someone else going to pull the weight of this side just a little bit. Thankfully, he's able to kind of do exactly that. But hey, it's still a 10-round buffer built up by Monte. I don't think they're going to be complaining all too much. And actually, despite it being so one-sided in terms of the scoreline, the money isn't exactly as built up as I would have expected over towards Monte. They still are able to be, you know, forced into an eco this half. I mean, it'd be pretty unlikely because of how, you know, successful they've been looking, but it still is definitely a possibility. So I don't want to count it out by any means. But even still, the best that SAW can do in this first half is 4. And on the current Ancient, which is had, you know, changes to make it a little bit more weighted over towards that T side, that's not good enough.
Definitely not. DemQQ going to eat a lot of damage early on here. Going to look to trade. Ooh, a little bit back. He's actually getting cheeky with the flash on his teammate. He's going to be blinded up. They don't check for him, though. And somehow, from here, he's able to come away with 2. Roman does well to find 2, though, and make sure that the trades are back in for that SAW side, giving them another chance into the round. Story going to pick up Waro and also pick up Boros. They are just so damn aggressive on the Monte side, and it seems maybe too little too late, but towards the tail end, SAW have certainly got themselves used to that. Still a bit all over the place, though, to find their second.
Yeah, I mean, we'll take any positives we can get right now, won't we? I mean, you know, where we currently are, this has been extremely one-sided. So just to have the ability to say, okay, this is looking better for SAW, you know, not gonna shy away from anything. But is it gonna be good enough overall? I mean, we'll have to wait and see. But at the moment, not looking so. These are coming through. SAW actually giving me a little bit more reserve there. Apart from just, he is very close to the action. Could maybe catch a bit of timing.
Oh, just going to find the head of Boros pretty big. Waro does chime in for 1, gets a quick reposition off. That is fast and furious for sure. Krasnal, meanwhile, the third prong of this defense, looking very good indeed. They're ready for the flank. And Monte, perhaps by all accounts, back to their winning way. It's going to be Story up against 4, and I don't think he stands a single chance here with no bomb as well. And the info a little bit old that he's got. Krasnal will take him down. That's the 12th round for Monte.
That's the Monte, back to the Monte that we kind of know and love and have come to be affiliated with in towards this first half. And of course, actually the second half of Anubis too. Just dominant one side of the fair. Continues in exactly the same case. 12-2, back to that 10-round deficit. We've seen, you know, better rounds come out from SAW, but I think a lot of reliance comes off the individuals like your Stories of the world, who's actually been very prevalent in the AWP. Now he's only got a Galil. I mean, Jerk's only got a Tech 9. He's going 2-14. At least he's broken the deadlock with a kill, but overall, it's just not, unfortunately, been good enough from the young rifler.
Nice pickups coming in from the rest of the squad then, making a 3 versus 2. Roman will trade one out. He's actually got A control, but the bomb needs recovering, and to be fair to him, just also needs to make it out of here. And I don't know that that's going to happen for him. He might get one, but even that is too much to ask for. Roman, therefore, he's all alone in the final round of this half, sorry. They're going to discover the bomb, and he will be left in an unwinnable situation, I think it's safe to say.
I'll probably agree with you, I think, Scriv. This is pretty tough. And he gets caught on the way out. 13-2, ladies and gentlemen. Monte dominant. We'll have to see if it continues after the break.
Well, well, well. 13-2 from Monte speaks for itself. Don't need to add too much to that, that's for sure. Goodness, yes. Sharp intake of breath indeed. We'll see what SAW have got from their CT side. It's going to be a bloodbath towards middle, because why not at 13-2? They need something to go their way, and surely something like this got to work, right? Nope. Moro and SDY say otherwise. You jerks can't get in there. And that will be the pistol and probably the game going the way of Monte. And as we had just said there, Neo, and maybe for our loyal viewership at home, if you catch all the games week on week, first of all, thank you. Second of all, this is probably the fastest one that we have had in a long time, and may well be up for historical numbers, especially over the past sort of year and a half, 2 years, where the economy has been so even as it has, you know, and it creates a lot of even games. So really surprising to see. First map, not so much. You can maybe expect it on a newer one that Monte have been, you know, really prepping for. But this one is very surprising. It shows they're not just prepping one map, they're prepping their whole game. And they are coming with some pretty legit gameplay to go along.
Yeah, I mean, with Monte as well recently qualifying for IE in Brazil, now we have to start making conversations about them actually looking as one of the sides you have to keep an eye on when we look towards the open quals for the major too, right? They've done it once. There's a world in which they definitely could be a team we look towards there. They can compete with some of the best that are outside of kind of the pro league era, so to say. This could be messy. And right now, looking very good as Monte are comfortably building up and securing that lead. It's a 12-round lead already built up. It could be them finding 15 in just a moment.
All to play for. SDY with only 3 HP, but he's got a kill to his name. And Monte, they want this game over and done with pretty quickly, not just charging in, not just going thick and fast and cheesing the lead that they've got. They're making good use of these T-side rounds as much as they possibly can. He says Molotov does miss. 3 players ready to go on B. This, oh, is dangerous in the setup as well. It's a nice little crossfire to make it hard to deal with this 5-7. They will be able to do it eventually, and thank goodness the smoke was down. Just is attempting to charge in, and the smoke works for him. There you go, 3 versus 2 comes round. Maybe needed one more to make it happen, and Waro standing strong against the MP9 will confirm the fact. 15-2, 13 in a row. I would say it's impossible, but, you know, Monte got pretty damn close. 13 in a row required from SAW.
Yeah, I think at this point we can maybe start making those arguments now. I mean, this has just been, it's been brutal, hasn't it? It's just been so one-sided. I mean, I'll take a look. But overall, for Monte, the way they've set themselves up, this has just been fantastic. At this sort of lead, I can't see a world in which they see this off now. Or, you know, choke it out, may I say. SAW, and their job may be done, but Story has other ideas. Same for Just.
Yeah, okay. Looking good on the aggressive MP9s then. An AK going to be recovered for Just, which might make its hands into an armored opponent. But we'll see. Still 3 of them left with a lot of utility and low HP bars across that CT side. Definitely not out of the question, but SAW with something a bit more proactive is good to see.
At least having them look competitive is it's nice. It's refreshing. MUTiRiS doesn't get started by the first, and of course gets in for an MQQ and he'll fall away.
Yep. MUTiRiS, mollied, but not quite on the right side. They're very solid on the hold here towards Donut. SDY will take out Just. I think that's over towards the B-bomb site. He's now left alone, though. And with only 5 HP, so he's not looking too good. They will, at the very least, get 1 in the bag. SDY drops a name there right at the end. All the same, 15-3 is still not much better than 15-2. It is just the 1 round from SAW that maybe, you know, gives them some solace that they're not getting completely ruined.
Yeah, no.
Just mostly ruined, you know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, actually, interesting enough, from a 15-3 scoreline, there's a 1% instance on HLTV where someone has turned it back and won the game out in overtime. So it's happened before, apparently. It's not impossible. I think it's probably only happened once. And I'll have to go maybe searching for the game. But according to stats, It has happened. So, hey, maybe this could be the second instance. Who knows?
We'll see. We'll see indeed. The B bomb site says no. Not quite yet. Not ready to answer that question. Monte will give them another chance at it. And listen now, all I'm hearing, to use a classic line, is that they can either do it or they can't. So essentially there's a 50-50 chance. Because if it's been done before, then that does mean it is technically possible. So I don't think that's how statistics work, but that's a line I'll probably use a major one day instead of in a ECL game, you know, 15-3 all the way down. Just testing the water with that one.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting one. Hey, it's doable, right? I'm not going to count them out, but I think it's very hard for any kind of impartial fan to look at this and not think it's done. I mean, we'd love a bit of a game on our hands here, but it just feels so unlikely. I'm not going to get ahead of myself. So I think I need to see SAW up to like, 12 rounds minimum before I even start delving into those sort of conversations, because just so far it's just been pretty perfect. It's just been pretty damn good. So comfortable from them, and so little that we can say over towards the opposition where we're like, okay, there's enough for us to go off in terms of a positive note. We just haven't really seen SAW look too competitive, not only this map, but the series. We just haven't seen it. Anubis was a bit of the same as well. The start of that half, that first half was all right. Kind of 5 or 6 SAW, we're thinking, okay, maybe it's all right. An 8-7 half, not bad from SAW, but just from the halfway point of map the one onwards, it has just been all Monte. And since then, I think most people would lean towards that camp that Monte would just see this off. All it takes is one hiccup from SAW.
Yeah, and I think they've really been kind of anti-strat here. They've really been thought about in a heavy way, so it is very, very surprising indeed. But I don't know that SAW have necessarily done their homework coming into this one now, is ultimately what I'm getting at. Their CT side looks a lot more comfortable. This is where, they would usually pick up the majority of their rounds, but just so much work to do here. Tag damage onto Just. The healthiest of starts into the round. Quick rush through as well here from that T-side, going to allow them to get the bomb plant down. And a 4v4, 4v3 retake now is not looking too good. What is BOROS doing over here? Just finds 2 easy headies on an M4 that he retrieved from the early player going down. And even just the damage there from that kill should be enough to seal the deal on this one. Roman against the world. Massive wall for him to get through, and they know where they're at. Not going to give him a single chance at this one, I would imagine. It's all set up and ready to go. And there you have it, 16-4, 2-0 coming in from Monte is just mind-blowing. Maybe we give them a shoe-in that they can take one map or make it competitive. SDY, recent addition, things have looked good. They make IEM Brazil. They're still riding that high, apparently, and now looking to take some names a little further up the food chain.
Yeah, Monte in online competitions into 2023 look like a different beast. That pickup of Sunday Young is just really doing